Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press Podcast, a college basketball experience. Luke Taylor here, back in the saddle with my guy Sam Davidson. If you love the podcast, you like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, share. We have a new Twitter handle at, if you look at the bottom, LT and Sammy D1, and follow us on Instagram at Full Court Press B-Ball. And we got a great episode. It's been a lot of, it seems like conference realignment and conference discussion is on the forefront of the summer, along with the transfer portal. And we have someone that you have converted me into one of my, if not favorite conferences, the Mountain West Conference. We have the commissioner who I sang a song that was titled her name. Yeah. I think I did a good job. I hope. She said she was going to send you swag, but not me. I'm a little bit disappointed.
Because I'm the one who converted you into a Mountain West fan.
Yeah, but why can't I wear it?
You can. We just got to get those. We got to sneak into some athletic programs and get those like double, triple XLs from.
I don't need triple XLs, dude. I need double.
It's all good. Need triple. I will get you some Mountain West.
Hey, just wait. Time out. You know, we've gotten how many programs have we had on the podcast? 50?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
At least 50. And one conference, Gene doesn't count, DiFilippo. We have gotten no swag.
No, not from conferences, have we?
Or teams.
Yeah, a lot of promises, a lot of commitments. We're gonna start holding people accountable this next season.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, we should. I mean, we'll wear it.
Yeah, we will wear it. Absolutely. But this next episode is absolutely fire. Like, it's always good talking to commissioners because they're like at the forefront of everything that's happening, right?
The heartbeat.
And they are the heartbeat of college athletics. And it's like you don't see them often in the spotlight when you're watching games or on the sidelines. But it's what this next guest has been able to accomplish in all sports. I mean, we're basketball focused, and Mountain West got 66 bids in the NCAA tournament, which is just incredible growth for that conference. You came out to Fort Collins last year for a little road tour, Full Court Press road tour.
Road trip.
And I think you saw it in the flesh, just like how special Mountain West basketball is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was amazing. I'm a little bit disappointed how the Mountain West showed up in the tournament. It was so promising too, but Colorado State won a game. San Diego State made a Sweet 16, lost to UConn, who obviously won the national championship. But it's going to be interesting to see. She put us on the spot after our predictions, and we kind of said, like, you kind of have to wait because we're doing a Mountain West conference show. So we're going to do in September and October. We're going to try to do all 31 conferences. We're going to have hopefully 1 to 2 coaches on each podcast, 15, 20 minutes, and really give you a deep dive into each conference. And I don't think anybody else is doing it like we do. So there's a song by Kendrick Lamar.
I agree. Why don't you make the official introduction here, and let's get the show on the road.
So I can butcher a name. Why don't you go ahead, please?
Coming up next, we've got the Mountain West Commissioner, Gloria Nevarez. How's that?
The Full Court Press Podcast, a college basketball experience.
Let's get it, LT.
All right, Sam, I'm excited. So her name is Gloria. We got Gloria Nevarez, Mountain West Commissioner, Mountain West Conference Commissioner on the Full Court Press Podcast, and we're only talking about basketball. Gloria, basketball.
Might throw in some football in there. Football's on everybody's mind right now, but yeah, it's all good. Welcome to the podcast, Gloria.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
Yes. Have you ever heard that Van Morrison rendition of your name?
No, never. Nor have I ever heard the Laura Branigan 80s version.
Yeah. Well, my name's Luke. I lived on the second floor. So, so Sam, I'm going to give Sam all the credit here. So he lives in Fort Collins, as we've talked about just before this with you. And he has turned me into a Mountain West conference lover. I will be honest with you. It's one of my favorite conferences, thanks to Sam. We were out there for our first ever full court press weekend. We did Fort Collins and Laradice, as we like to call it. So you were only the second commissioner of the Mountain West. So you've got a tall order here, and you obviously got to stay for another 30 years.
Yes. Here's hoping. And Sam, we're going to be sending you a swag bag. Thanks for
I love it. I love it.
Well, you don't have big enough sizes for me?
No, not for you. She can send you some football stuff, I'm sure. That like triple XL that you're sporting these days, LT. But I mean, the Mountain West. Yeah, I mean, Gloria.
And then you'll get your
exactly.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. But I mean, the Mountain West, it's like I didn't grow up in Fort Collins. Like my wife and I moved here 8 years ago. And then I was just like, what have I been missing out my whole life on? You know, like great basketball, great sports as a whole, like a conference that's like embraced innovation over the past several years as well. Like you see college athletics so kind of Midwest, East Coast, South focused, right? Like what's it like to kind of be at the helm of kind of Mountain West, West Coast kind of Division I athletics?
Well, you know, I spent a large portion of my career in the Western region, you know, Pac-12, WCC, Cal, San Jose State. So I'm of the Western region, 1, 2. When I started at the Mountain West, I realized, wow, this is a really well-built, you know, whenever you take a new job, you think, oh, when I get there, there's going to be some stuff. There wasn't the things. It's really well built. And I shouldn't make car analogies because I know nothing about autos, but I feel like I inherited like a race car or a Ferrari, and I just need to take it out on different highways. Like everything is so exciting about the Mountain West, and certainly last year's basketball season. Holy smokes.
Wild.
So you're talking about highways. So where are you driving to get your next school for the conference?
Wow. Driving to add a school or to visit a school? Sorry, I missed that.
I don't know. You tell me. No, it's all good.
Let's touch on that. I mean, it's like you're in the heartbeat of like what's going on in college athletics, and a big part of that is conference realignment. Right. Yeah. And, you know, we saw what happened with the Pac-12 and all that kind of stuff. Like, what has that been like to kind of navigate that from your position?
Well, you know, the Mountain West was the original disruptor 25 years ago in creating a conference out of nowhere. And we're relatively young because compared to these other leagues. And when I first took over at the West Coast Conference, the Mountain West was sniffing around, couldn't say it. And when I took over at the Mountain West, San Diego certainly was very public and, you know, had hopes of joining the Pac-12. So it seems to have become our everyday. But, you know, what we've done at the Mountain West is we have a small group membership subcommittee. They meet regularly, not only to think about and be on the front foot if anything changes, but to think forward about, you know, who might be the next if we were to lose. But fortunately, knock on wood, we are together for the moment. And hopefully we're entering a place of stability with all the media contracts having been recently locked up, the CFP contract kind of locked up. So, you know, we're ready, but hopefully I'm optimistic we're going to settle in here.
Well, it's interesting because you were the commissioner of the WCC. You worked at the Pac-12, Pac-10. You're part of adding the two teams. Now it's the Pac, I guess, 2. And now you're Mountain West. Like, you obviously have some good friendships, obviously some colleagues. With the kind of landscape of college basketball and college sports in general, and a lot of it is driven by, you know, the worst, I guess, 7-letter word, which is football. Yeah, that's 7 letters.
8 letters.
I'm Canadian. There's only one L in football. Oh God, I'm shooting myself in the foot. How does that work? Because obviously you've got to represent the Mountain West. How is that kind of working? Because obviously you've heard the news that the Big 12 and UConn are entertaining potentially joining that conference, which, you know, Sam and I are also Big East purists. How does that work for you, I guess, in the position you're in?
You know, as you mentioned, I have long time friends, colleagues, relationships. Was so excited for Ann McCoy when she got the job at Washington State. Bummed Pat. Well, happy for Pat, but bummed. But I think that's the foundation of being able to have these conversations transparently, confidentially, and really just cut to the core of it and do it with much respect, professionalism, and being able to already have built that foundation with those folks makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the season the Mountain West had in basketball last year, right? Like, what was that like, kind of going through? When did you realize that you guys were one of the best conferences, and you guys started? It seemed like as the season went through, you guys started getting more and more in the spotlight, right? And then it comes down to Selection Sunday, and what was that process like during those months?
Well, I think, you never know until they start playing. But, in the beginning, our folks are watching the who's signing, who's transferring. And we had high hopes for the top 3 or 4 teams coming back. Didn't see the Utah State thing at all.
Wow. Yeah.
Thing. Hoped, and, New Mexico was coming back. And then about halfway through conference season, we thought, this could be great. But, we're very superstitious, so we don't overly articulate, but we were planning on the what ifs. And so, our tournament day by day couldn't have played out better for Selection Sunday. Certainly the schools that lost were like, but we were tracking like, wow, this might actually set us up for a really positive selection, all the way to the point when we got 6 teams in and we lit up that ad in Times Square. We were just, wow. It was so special and so exciting. And all the credit in the world to the coaches and the players who, man, they left it on the floor. Heart and soul.
Right. And I think also, too, you've got a lot of really good stability at the top with all your coaches. You've got some really great coaches. Coach Leon Rice has been at Boise State for years. You got Coach Patino. You have, Coach Medved, who we've had, and then you've got Coach Calhoun, who was at Youngstown State. We've had him on the podcast, and then obviously Coach Alford from Nevada, Coach Dutra. You can go on. As a commissioner, as a commissioner's office, how do you continue after having 6 teams in the NCAA tournament, which is huge for a conference like yourselves or any conference? You get twice as many as the Big East, I might add. How do you keep the train going in the right direction?
Well, we don't hire coaches, recruit athletes. That's the purview of campus. But one, I will say, our campuses, it's this great, interesting niche the Mountain West fills. We're kind of in the top middle of the ecosystem. And every time we get, we might be the league of first time in the chair presidents, ADs, head coaches. We find and develop talent. We're not always getting, the talent that everybody knows about. And yet, when that happens and they might get better opportunities or recruited away, we always tend to rebuild. And the same is true. You look at that San Diego State Final Four team, they lost a lot of talent. They kept some, certainly, but they rebuilt. And that seems to be the magic gift of the folks in our league. And to your point, while stability certainly lends to success and culture building, our schools have managed to be able to swap out pieces and parts and continue going forward. And our job at the league is to celebrate that happens.
Yeah. Dan, let me just ask this quick question. So Wyoming hired Sundance Wicks. How excited were you? This guy has, I'm nervous and I don't drink coffee. I might drink coffee because he's got so much energy. You should, we're texting back and forth, Instagramming back and forth recently. And I'm like, all right, you better bring the juice. How excited from a PR standpoint was the league office for hiring someone like that into the Mountain West Conference?
Well, one, greatest name in college basketball, right?
Yes.
Come on. But two,
and college football too.
And college football.
Yeah, so great. Yeah.
But also, when coaches are willing to lean in like that and be the face of the program, that's what we love, because our job, we're the megaphone, we're the amplifier of what's happening on campus. And, when coaches are willing to, really lean in on our media days or pop on for different content captures, it only helps us raise the national profile profile of the brand and the season we're having.
So I want to hear it straight from you. We've got the Power 6 conference is right. Then we have mid-majors, right? What do you
Power
consider?
5 now? Power 5 now, because
Power 5 now. But it's like, what do you, and we kind of go back and forth on what to call a conference like the Mountain West, that has really nice budgets in their athletic program, but they're not really considered that Power 5, Power 6, but they're not mid-majors either. Like what do you want us to call you?
Winners.
Love it.
Yeah, we've struggled for years. And when I was at the WCC, there's a whole different level of what you call us. And, it's weird that the NCAA has always classified all the leagues based on football.
Mm-hmm.
Then the struggle is how to translate that to basketball. But, we don't care what you call us. And as long as we get our 6, 7, 8 teams in the tournament, we're good.
Yeah.
Sam, I don't think she was satisfied with 6 teams in the tournament. I think she wants like all 11.
No, that's going to be my next question. Such a competitive background that you came from, you're a player at UMass and then, went on to get your law degree. And then what has it always been part of your journey to be an athletic director, and kind of what was that like? And what was that kind of wake up call that you were like, hey, this is the difference I can make?
Well, first of all, I'm very competitive. I didn't play a lot at UMass. People through sport and higher education. And, I took a 50% pay cut, decided not to practice law. And my parents were like, what are you doing? And it was tough.
Who's laughing now, Gloria?
My mom still doesn't know what I do. But she doesn't.
All right. I won't share what my mom thinks. That's not the topic of this conversation. So let me ask you something. What was your opinion? And I know John, because you brought him up. We've had him on the podcast.